Welcome to PTGtv. This is your host, Antonio Hicks, aka Escaping the Matrix. We're going to switch it up and do something a little different on this episode. Not that I haven't done it before, but it's been like, I was like, what, 2 years ago? I've been doing it for 3.5 years. They were like 2 years ago. But anyway, we're talking about, the exploration and the study of extraterrestrial life. And I'm bringing it up because of a situation that has come up from this Las Vegas family that reported seeing a UFO crash in their backyard while they were out working on some cars, and they reported they saw like some 10-foot aliens that you could that actually came out of the ship. Now, what's crazy about the story was there was a police officer that was around the area around the same time frame. Their body cam footage actually caught something coming out of the sky and potentially landing by. And then there are other neighbors nearby that actually heard like a boom go off. And I'm gonna play some of the video footage.
They're like 9 foot, 10 foot tall. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes, they have big eyes.
A family called police on May 1st saying something had crashed in their backyard. They also said they saw large, non-human creatures roaming around the crash site. As far-fetched as it might sound, officers took the case and the call very seriously after a mysterious sighting of their own.
It's like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
Because I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or?
Now, as you can hear, you hear him talking about what he was describing happened in his backyard, and you also hear him describing what the creature was. And then, for those that actually want to see the video footage of it, you can go to my YouTube channel and then you can see the actual video footage of it. But you can see him walking through the backyard. Now, what's crazy is somebody has actually paused it. And if you look down by the right-hand corner of the fence, you can potentially see something like peering through the fence and like a hand movement in there. If you like pause it, and you can see like something looking through the fence, but they don't really necessarily see it because it's to the right-hand side of them. It's dark in the backyard, but they see something, and something shocks them to the point to where they actually walk away. Well, they not walk away, they run away. But if you also look up at the top right-hand corner, you see a shadow within the trees, which is indicating that, something is there. Now, of course, alien life and exploration and discussion is nothing new. Like, I'm a huge fan of Tyler with Secure Team. So if you don't watch Secure Team, it's a huge YouTube channel on the side. I think he has up to 3 million subscribers on there. Not that the numbers even matter, but he does a lot of breakdown about, alien life and reports that's been taking place and some of the vehicles that people have talked about and some of the things that we see throughout the night sky flying across them. I mean, everything. He reports all things extraterrestrial and just crazy stuff that's going on around the world, from like the booms that people have been hearing to the climate and what's going on in our weather. But it's primarily focused on, extraterrestrial life, which is a huge topic that's been going on for, I want to say, people say over some decades, almost like hundreds of years. Because if you look at some of the drawings from some of like the Aztec temples and places like that, you do see remnants of things that will remind you of like the spears and how we think that, or how we see the extraterrestrials when they come here on Earth. Now, the question to you, and I guess this whole discussion is like, are you a believer in it? Like, for me, I am. I'm not one to believe that we're the only ones existing within this solar system or any solar systems. I actually believe in multidimensional beings. So even to say that, let's just say that they're not traveling across the universe, but they could be interdimensional. I mean, I do believe in things like that because, science is crazy. I mean, look at the technology that we have right now. Even some of the iPads we have, what we imagine that in Star Trek. So, with science, anything can be possible. I mean, we even have been able to detect dark matter. And, some of the sci-fi shows we watch that's used for actual fuels. We've actually been able to detect wormholes around our planet. And yeah, I mean, we've been able to detect, now we don't know how to enter them. We don't know how to actually utilize them, but we can detect it. It's like through high energy fields that they have been able to see, and they can see that we have a couple of them around our planet. I can't even tell you the number because I haven't looked it up in so long. But I want to bring the discussion up because, I mean, the conversation is getting hot and heavy again. And, just to do a cover on it because, the government has been leaking out videos here and there with all these whistleblowers taking place. And one of the recent whistleblowers, the young naval pilot, he worked for the Pentagon, and he worked actually in that division And he was saying that we do have access to some alien vehicles. Like it's not made from anybody, anything, any material here was on this planet. And we have actually worked with some extraterrestrials. He even went as far as to say that. Now he was interviewed on a reputable news station. And now it's not CNN. This news station called News Nation. It's not CNN. It's not Fox. It's not any of those places that people was like, oh, well, that's a load of garbage. But what's crazy is one of the interviewers and the anchor women is Ashley Banfield. Ashley Banfield used to be on CNN. I liked her as a reporter and a journalist. So, but that's not a discredit to anything. I mean, because it's on a major news source, and what they did do was they vetted him. So they did background checks on this guy and everything to make sure he was who he said he was. So it's like, well, why would he come out and lie about something? Because what does he stand to gain from it? And then there was even a reputable Israeli scientist. I mean, he's well known. I have to look at him. I'll put all this stuff in the description. But even he said that we were we're trying to become part of an alien like nation. Like they have a NATO up there, and so all the different species kind of work together. And he said that we're trying to become a part of that community. And I don't know how I feel about that because I think we're humans are very basic and we're stupid. We have not even figured out how not to even fight with ourselves, let alone trying to work with other species. So it's like, should we be part of this alien, this United Nations up there? I don't think so. Until we can, and I'm not trying to say the other species because I don't know. I can't say I'm sure other species because I don't know what other species would think if they fight amongst themselves. Because even for us, we're so divided by race, religion, politics, what is it, skin color, our it's just so much stuff that we're divided by. And it's like, why does it even, to me, and that's not even get off topic of the extraterrestrials, it's like, you heard me say in other podcasts, I don't understand why we can't work together for the advancement and evolution of the human species. Like, why do we care about what other people are doing in their bedroom, what other people believe in? Because, like I said, at the end of the day, nobody has ever gone to the left and came back and said, oh, yeah, God is real. Because even to that, it's still questionable because you don't know how the brain actually functions once you're going through a state of death. But back to the topic at hand. I believe it because, there's an abundance of exoplanets throughout our entire solar system. So you got many different types of planet that exist within the habitable zone. They call it the Goldilocks zone. And that's there's so many light years between the sun or the star of that solar system and to where that planet is at. So it's not too far away and it's not too close to where if it's too close, it's too hot because no life can survive on that. And it's not too far away because if it's too far away, then it gets too cold. So we've seen ton of planets out there that exist within the Goldilocks zone to where, life could potentially exist. And then we have, and we've invested within the US alone towards trying to look for the alien life. So I'm like, something has to exist. And we've gotten radio messages from different solar systems and planets to where we have not been able to decode them. They say it could be potentially noise, but I don't know if you all have seen, it's not, what is it signal? I think it's signal. And, they had received a signal from a different planet and it's not Signs. Signs is Signs is like an alien horror movie. But we have used we have SETI and we have METI. So SETI is a search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and then METI is a messaging extraterrestrial intelligence. And the only thing they're looking for is direct. They're looking for signals coming from any potential planet that's out there, because it doesn't necessarily have to be within a planet from the Goldilocks zone. It could be from a ship that's broadcasting a signal. And we spent a ton of money towards that. There's always talk about the Men in Black, because even the young kid from Las Vegas that actually reported it out, and he called 911. Even he said that he had seen some guys in a car driving by with shades on, slow driving past their house. Now, any of y'all know from the block, we don't do well with people slow driving past our house. that could mean multiple things. But yeah, so it's always been something to say that our government would do something to block that. And I mean, we've spent it's estimated that we spent anywhere from 20 to 40 billion on alien research since the 1940s. So you're talking about from Project Blue Book to, like I said, SETI a minute ago. And I mean, and that's just an estimate because you don't necessarily know what's been reported or what has not been reported up, because you have some elected officials that's never even heard, for some of supposedly haven't even heard some of the bases where some of these people, well, the conspiracy theory says some of these places are existing at. But in 2013, though, there was a report by the Sunlight Foundation estimated the U.S. government has spent another 125 million on classified programs related to UFOs and extraterrestrial life since 2001, and that includes programs such as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which investigates reports of unidentified flying objects. And even, I can go as far as to say that with 45, he started Space Force. So, I mean, that's another branch of the military that, dude has started up. Now, I don't know why he would have started it. I was always curious about that. And I'm not a 45 fan by any means whatsoever. And I don't care what my listeners listen to or what they want to listening in, if they like him or not. I don't care. This conversation is not about the politics and who I support and who I don't support. I mean, because you can be a terrible person, but so I can still line up with you on certain things if you're trying to do something towards, like, again, the advancement of human life, or science and research going towards like viruses and diseases and whatnot. But and also space exploration. I think we should do more space exploration. I don't think we should be dropping off the junk that we're doing right now. Like when we go to the moon, or like even in Mars, we've had so many rovers up there and they've broken down. It's like in this, you have just trash on different planets. Now, I don't know that you can necessarily go back and clean it up, but I still don't think that we should be polluting other planets. I do believe, though, and this is talk about Mars, I do believe that we've sent other humans up there with the rovers on Mars. And it could be aliens, but I do, because to me, I find it very odd that when they show the Mars rover, sometimes when it's cleaned itself off, like it's actually clean to a T. And I'm like, how does a robot get itself that clean to the metal is shining again and like everything like it's just been wiped down? Like I mean, have we gotten that far advanced to where, I mean, because if we are that advanced, why aren't we using it in our already day-to-day lives for regular civilian people? But I am curious, though, how people would receive, the idea of alien life. Like I've always wondered, like, why would they not release that information? Because to me, there was like, it's the fear of like nationwide fear. But I'm like, at the end of the day, we still got to get up and we still have to go pay bills. Like I tell my family, I'm like, to me, that is just a far-fetched excuse, because we still have to go and pay bills. We still got to live our life. We still have to, go out and work. We still got to eat. We still have to survive. So to me, even if you come out and start talking about that there's alien, that we've actually discovered alien life, and let's say they introduce who this species is and they have a press conference and people are able to ask it questions, it's exciting. It's a conversation piece. It's something to talk about with your neighbors and your friends. It's something that we all can fantasize over. Maybe we can get to travel to their planet or their solar system and be able to meet more like them. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, you still got to work. You still got to go and you got to, pay your bills and stuff. You still got to survive in this life. So I don't understand this fear of, why it would be a discussion. And then there is a talk of also unity, because I think it was Bush had said that, what if we had, it was first Bush, not Junior, that what if we had a unknown threat that would help to unite all of us as one, as opposed to being divided. Now, people have speculated that he was talking about, and he was covering this when he was covering the Union speech. Well, he was giving his State of the Union speech. So to me, I'm like, well, a lot of people speculated that maybe that's what he was talking about. It was about alien life. And I like the idea of that. I mean, because even now, that's what the guy that's reported that came from the Pentagon, he said the same thing too. But he said we're actually competing with one another to see how many ships that we can get, and we can reverse engineer and start utilizing that technology with other nations. Because they're like, well, whoever's the first one to get that, they could potentially see that as a threat coming from another nation. Because I mean, I can understand it, because now you're you have this other nation has advanced technology that you don't have access to, because what have we seen around here now, like the Chinese spy balloons, and then we already have major hacks that take place. Because I mean, if let's say there is a species, they're not operating from where we are operating now with our computing power. They probably have quantum computers. Now, if you know anything about quantum computers and what what people have feared for them to be able to do is they can crack any type of algorithm that's like the 256-bit encryption that you have right now. They can potentially crack that because it can operate at such a high rate of speed to where that's not a factor anymore. So let's say another nation actually gets access to a species computer system. What would that necessarily mean to ours? Because if you know what they say about when the ships fly around different bases or it comes close to your car, it emits somewhat like an EMP pulse to where your electronic vehicles become disabled. Now that's happened to a ton of people have reported that when have experienced being abducted, to where they said all of their electronics got shut off. Even the fourth kind, when they reported it, I mean, a lot of the movies say the same thing too. So to me, I'm like, there has to be some truth to that. And it's like, what if a nation did get access to that form of technology to where they could disable you? Like, it wouldn't be a true EMP pulse, because a true EMP blast would actually fry your systems, and there's no way of bringing it back up. Once it's fried, it's just fried. But with that pulse, it's almost to a degree where it disables it, but once it releases it, everything goes back to working the way it was. Now, how that works, I have no idea. And I'm a nerd, and I haven't researched it as to how it would work. But I can understand the fear behind it, because if another nation did get that, then, yeah, I mean, that would be an issue. But now another key factor to it, too, is it might reduce tension between the countries. Like, we will all actively work together. Now, I just said a minute ago, we were working against each other because of what he reported, because we're trying to be the first to the technology. But it's the same as having nuclear arms, to where if we all have that same tech, then now we all can collectively work together to really understand it and see what we can do as far as becoming a part of that United Nations up in the stars. Now, if the policies that's created, I always get curious about how the policies would play a part in that, and what funding, if there could be any funding, be included. Because I'm like, how would you fund something when it's technology that we don't even have the means to be able to build? Like, if it's materials that's not even from this planet or the solar system, like, what would that funding even look like? And then, how would we even set up like international agreements to even get that stuff done? But us being humans, we would find a way to do that. So yeah, I just wanted to bring this up. I want to be long-winded about it. I just thought it was real curious, because you can see from the video that just came out, and he's not the first one, why I find it so interesting that everybody's focused on this one. And I guess I can see that, because people might call BS on it, because anybody can call in and report, have a 911 call, say they saw an alien. But because of the fact of there was body cam footage from a police officer, and then they had some people home video security footage that actually recorded the sound of the boom when it hit the ground. This one seems to be a little bit more believable, because the kid himself, like, even the family now has gone dark, and I can understand why they have gone dark, because I'm sure people are knocking on their doors. I mean, but they showed area footage of these people's house, so they got people knocking on their doors, asking them all kind of questions. This one guy he has an actual police podcast. He went over there and he was able to talk to them. He interviewed them, and I'll put his name down in the description too. But he interviewed them and actually talked to the kid one-on-one. That I guess he's the one that speaks English in the house. This is a Hispanic family or Spanish family, so he speaks English in the house. But the kid even said that people was coming and asking for more interviews. And if you're a private family, especially how here in the States that people have been acting towards the Spanish community, I can get, because you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself, because you don't want to get the wrong attention that comes along with that. So I can get them going dark, but I can believe him. Even with the guy that came from the Pentagon, I can believe him as well too, because I mean, he's been vetted. So it's like, well, why would you risk all of this just for the sake of what internet? I mean, don't strike me as internet clout. Like, why would, of all things that you could report and want to get some clout for, why would it be about aliens? Because a lot of people don't even believe. They like to believe that we're the only ones that exist. And to me, that's just asinine. I mean, why would you think we're the only ones throughout multiple galaxies that and I know they're looking for this so-called sign of, well, if there's out there, why haven't they communicated yet? And I mean, like it said to, people have already said, if you're walking around, you're stepping on bugs, how do you know bugs aren't trying to talk to you? And it's like, if they're that advanced, why do they need to listen to anybody here on this planet? Like, who are we? Now, we're on the verge of destroying ourselves, but still, that's my answer to that. So yeah, I just wanted to bring this up to talk about it. I thought it was real interesting because, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of us UFO enthusiasts that have been following this for a long time. Because you had like Travis Walton from years ago, like over a decade ago, who had been abducted and who reported his story, and people didn't believe him. But his friend was missing. He still is missing. They never found his friend. They want to say that he had something to do with it, but they actually hypnotized him. And even in hypnotizing him, they found out that he didn't skimp on his story being hypnotized. So, there's a lot of reports out there from alien life that people have been abducted or what they've seen. So I do find it interesting, like, right, why now are we focusing so much on it? And why is it so believable now versus what it was many years ago? So, yep, just want to make this short and sweet. Thank y'all for tuning in. Let me know if on whatever you following it's on, if it's on YouTube, let's talk about it in the description. How would you feel if you saw alien life? Would it impact you in your life? Would it change anything that you do on a daily basis? Or, would you continue living like you normally live right now? Is this another conversation piece to be talked about? So, hope you guys are doing great. We'll be back to regular filming and recording later on this week. So I do have a couple of people lined up for this show. But yeah, I want to drop this one out there. I know it's late. Like I said, I have a hard time being consistent sometimes when I don't have things planned out. I had a death in the family. And from having a death in the family and then having other projects I've been working on, I'm one-man army, kind of threw my whole schedule off track. But yeah, I'm back, and hope let's just talk about this. And I'm excited for all the new guests that's coming up in the discussion that we're going to have with politics, even some technology stuff coming out. I want to get more in depth talking about AI, and then some of the games that we've been playing. Like I've been playing Zelda, so even the channel is politics, technology, and gaming, how everything's intertwined together. But we just let's talk about nerd out about some actual video games that's coming. Like I'm excited about Final Fantasy 16 that's coming out in the next couple of weeks. Well, actually coming out next week. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all been doing great. Love you all. Until the next episode. Peace out.